This call is now being recorded.
Bee-bop-boo, the DePaul Radio Show. Hey, everybody, what's going on? You are listening to the one and only, actually the two and only, how about that? The DePaul Radio Show. This is Dale Rose here with, is there a Tony Scroat here as well?
Yes, welcome. Thank you. And
All right.
welcome.
So this is the Tony and Dale Show. We're here with you on a fabulous Friday. The semester has ended here at DePaul. We are in summer mode, working, drinking, laughing, having a great time, ripping, rolling, smoking, joking. Actually, that'll happen after the show. We got a few things for you guys here. I know it's the summertime. A lot of people have gone for summer vacation. Tony and I are here. We have stayed. Not on campus. We come here for the radio show, but I actually live down the street. My buddy Tony lives on the way north side. Tony, how's it doing up there on the north side? You live up by, you're actually really close to Loyola.
Right, I'm like a hop, skip, and a turn next to Loyola. It's beautiful.
So how come you don't go to Loyola? It's a nice school. You're right next to there. I mean, DePaul is better, obviously, but
can't afford it, and I wanted to take some specific classes at DePaul,
right?
That Loyola wasn't offering. So,
right. Well, hey, I have an agreement that Loyola is an inferior school to DePaul. Nothing against people from Loyola. I'm sure you guys think that your school is better, but all right. So let's get into. I just want to go over this is sort of like the end of the semester. I want to talk about the semester. Tony, things you and I did, maybe some classes we had, people we met. It's a new experience for us. We both come from different parts of the world. You from Alaska, and earlier you lived in L.A. I've lived in Boston. We've it's been I've had a pretty good semester. Although I have to admit, when I first came here, I super high hopes. Hey, it's been great, but parts of it haven't been everything that I hoped for. And Tony, I want to get your insight on this. I think the first thing I can say is, the girls' situation, which I'll get into in a moment here. But we have gone to some pretty good parties. We've had can you tell me about any of the parties that you went to? Some things. Let's do a best of stories for our first semester at DePaul.
Oh yeah. So one party that was fun is there was I met these two nice young ladies at my job. They, one of them had recently broke up with her boyfriend, and so her and her friend are trying to, they're flirting with me, and then they go, there's a party at my house, you should come, you're great. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I, went and hung out, very fun. I can't mention the other things going on, but it was a nice party. Everybody was pretty cool.
Whoa! Why can't you mention the other things?
Well,
can you allude to the other things?
Oh yeah, it was.
Our listeners want to know. They want all the juicy gossip, my friend.
I'm sure. I'm just being respectful, and so we don't want to get incriminated. But yeah, it was. There were there was a lot of options of what you wanted to do there. Different ways to
enjoy your night.
Enjoy your night, to be free, to have fun.
Getting in a different headspace, sort of hallucinogenic.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was fun. And that I just was kind of blown away by how friendly some of the girls and the women are here. It's so weird, dude.
Speaking of which, I've gone to a couple of parties as well. Actually, who's the craziest party that I went to was actually, I know that you know a couple of students from Columbia. We actually,
Right.
you know, like most college kids, I mean, we have jobs in different parts of the cities. We hang out in different parts of Chicago here, besides Lincoln Park where DePaul is. And we go to different parties, meet different people, different students at different colleges. Man, Columbia School for the Arts on the south side, like around Harrison.
Best party.
I think, oh my God. I went to, I couldn't even bring it there again if I tried. I went there with, some of my friends that I met that I've jammed with a couple of times musically, and they brought me to this house party. I don't know how they got away with it. It was definitely in like a trashier neighborhood, and I can say that because I don't even. What's that?
How big was the place?
Well, it was just in an apartment building, but it was on one floor. I think it was like they were renting out. I don't think this was just like a Columbia exclusive. Yeah, because they have like. If you go to school at Columbia, it's like, you know, they don't have like, you can't stay on campus there because there's like multiple different buildings on the south side of the city. So there's like basically an area, like a street where they have like a building and it's supposed to be, and I heard it's expensive as hell. And neither one of you and I, we do not live on campus. We live off campus. We commute here to DePaul. Right. That's for people that are going to live technically, at Columbia, which again is not on the actual campus, but it's in these like tenements. This apartment building is supposed to be just for Columbia people. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it was something like that. Again, it was in like a trashier neighborhood, but I know that everyone in this apartment building and below it, at least two different sections of the apartment were just for Columbia students, and there was like loud music, and you could hear it. I can't believe the police weren't called. But like there was
that's a weird
all over
thing.
the place. There was alcohol. There was people were getting naked. People were like, you know, dancing and blaring music, and everyone's getting all touchy feely. And I was like, wow, like this is like a crazy environment. It was one of the craziest naked parties basically I've ever been to. So hopefully going to another one of those again.
I noticed that too. Real quick about the cops. I haven't really had an encounters like, you know, at a party where they come in busted up. I haven't had any of that. I was like that's the weirdest and some nice surprisingly thing about, you know, this college situation. So
yeah, well, hey, for good reason. I'm sure there's a lot more. I didn't see any, like, there wasn't any violence going on. There was no real reason for them to be there unless it would be to tell us to turn down the noise. And it definitely was like past midnight. So we're talking about a late night party there. But anyway, maybe you get used to it if you live in the area. But there's many more things I'm guessing that the police have to deal with in the city rather than a couple of rowdy college students. I had to tell you too, like, though, coming from St. Louis, I did spend 2 years in St. Louis playing baseball on a scholarship, and eventually got injured, lost my scholarship. But I went to a school down there and had some great party experiences, so much so that when I first moved here, when I was talking about, you know, Chicago being a little hot and cold when I first got here, I'm warming up to it. But, man, I went back to St. Louis quite often this semester to party with some friends that I have there still. And one of it was this a Grateful Dead concert. I actually got to back to St. Louis, and I didn't tell you the whole story. I guess it was a Friday, Saturday type thing. I guess I can tell you about Saturday first since I already started the story. But on Saturday, there was this great party. It wasn't even in the concert. I didn't even have concert tickets. My friend is like, let's go to a party. It took place in the parking lot, which was, it was in like the suburbs. Technically wasn't in St. Louis, and it was in this big grass field. And it was basically all the Deadheads were selling stuff. They're selling beers. They were selling little knick-knack artifacts, collectibles, selling food, and all kinds of people were walking around. And let's just say I was in the right frame of mind, and with this girl that I met there, which is another topic I want to get into, man. It's been as far as Chicago is concerned, a little dry for me on the girls' situation.
Yeah.
I know I'm single, you're not, but we'll get into that in a second. But anytime I go back to St. Louis, immediately, like, I seem to meet a girl, and I'm like, I just wish I could have that luck up here. So anyway, I had this great time on Saturday. I was just walking around, like, in a great mood, right state of mind, and just like having this unbelievable time. And it just fits into all these great times that I have in St. Louis, as opposed to yet having too many of them in Chicago, which, you know, Tony, I know, like, you coming here was a little different than me, and I just want to say, like, I almost stayed. I came up here with my dad. I actually got a business opportunity. I came up here, happened to get into DePaul, but I almost actually just stayed there and stayed in school there, and I had so many friends and stuff. So, you know, I don't know. I'm hoping that Chicago changes, but one of the topics I want to get into. And so you and I have had a lot of, I've scoured this entire city since I've come here looking for, different jobs, bartending jobs. I do now work at Tequila Roadhouse, on North and Wells, but, yeah, it's still, I mean, I've been kind of like trying to find my crowd here, I'm into like metal music and the thrash music. Met you, which has been kind of a godsend, but I just haven't really, and even DePaul here so far, it's like I've met a theater crowd, and even, you know, I've taken a guitar class, but have you actually found your crowd here in Chicago as opposed to the friends that you had, like, you come from Juneau, Alaska?
At this time, for me, yeah, I mean, I'm coming from Alaska, like, you know, I was just yearning to leave. There, you know, I just wasn't, I felt the way you do here. That's how I felt there. So coming here for me was a godsend because, like, my girlfriend, she was able to turn me on to some places. She's kind of like, you know, hip to shit. And, so she brought me to, you know, Crowbar and, the Vic and, you know, the Metro and all these little, especially like the Elbow Room and all that. As far as metal goes, I think there's like maybe the Exit. I think they're like the only like metal industrial club in town, but it's more like punk rock, like, you know, the Fireside bowling alley?
Yeah, I've heard of that place. I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's like literally just a used up. I think the lanes are still functional, but yeah, they just play on the side, and it's like it's like the CBGBs of Chicago. Like everybody plays there in, you know, punk. Yeah, but yeah, as far as metal goes, I could see that, you know, but you know, also what I, you know, would suggest is like when there's shows, like metal shows, kind of just, you know, scope out flyers, and because people are always promoting their shit there. So that's kind of like how, you know, that's how I've like figured it out. Like, I know there's a metal fest, there's the Milwaukee Metal Fest. That's a fucking huge, like setup. Like that's a huge festival. So.
Well, the first place I heard of when I got here in Chicago was a place called the Thirsty Whale. I got here and I was like, I'm into metal music. There's all kinds of jazz places and blues places and, you know, that kind of thing. Wild Hair is a place. Oh, you got to go up there. It's great. Great music and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, cool place, man. But I went to go up to Thirsty Whale and I just heard it close. So as soon as I get here, it closed down, and it just seems like the city of Chicago. I mean, here in 1995, is just moving away from metal music, and it was still actually big in St. Louis, where I just came from. And this leads me into, you know, I was telling you about that Grateful Dead show. I just had the most amazing weekend last weekend, going back to St. Louis, and I got there, And there's two places that were my favorite places to go in St. Louis. One place is called Stages, and it's Stagez, and it's this big, huge club with it's got a upstairs, downstairs. It is just loaded and packed with people, and not exactly. It's not a big live music place. They do have live music sometimes, but it's more for just like a hangout. You go and you meet people, and it's just loaded with people like 21, 22 years old. And I've been going there for years. I mean, a couple of years. And in fact, for anybody out there, this is my, I'm putting it out there, man. I'm going to put this out there. I don't care. If you are under 21 and looking to get into clubs, which Stages was a 21 and over club, is a 21 and over club. A buddy of mine, and I have long hair. A buddy of mine has long hair as well. We don't even really look that similar, but I gave him $15 to get a new license. And he gave me his, and I go in there and I use his license, and I look close enough. You have to know what the date of birth. You have to know the facts on the actual license. But the people the people looking at the IDs, I've never been questioned about it. And it was the most exciting thing in the world when I lived there, being 19 years old. Like, and I would go in first and be like, we can't go in together because we have the same IDs, me and my buddy. So I would go in first. They would wait about 10 minutes, and then they would go in after me, and I would just go in. It was almost, I felt like I was in the middle of like Sunset Strip in LA in like in the 80s. Just being like the hottest club, not supposed to be there. It was just such a thrill to get in there and be able to hang out when I actually technically shouldn't be there. So anyway, the Stages is one of the places. You can see it right off the highway. It's got big, like, lit up letters and stuff, Stages. You can't miss it. That's not where I technically went last weekend. Stages used to be my favorite place. My new favorite place is in the section where I'm sure I could find it, but like I basically go to a friend of mine's house. He drives us there to this place called Pop Saloon. And it's on this strip. Basically, if you keep going down the strip, one part of the strip will take you to East St. Louis, and another part will take you straight out to basically like, I don't know, cornfields or something like that. It's nothing but country area sort of in the beginning of Illinois. So I go to Pops, and it's buzzing, and it's like they do have some live stuff going on, and I meet this incredible girl, and it was so horrible too, because I'm like, where am I going to go? I'm like, we're leaving the place, and I'm like, hey, why don't we just stay in the car tonight? Basically, we're all involved. It's like that's where we're gonna have our romantic evenings in her car. She's like, I can't just stay in the car. We got to go somewhere else. Go to your friend's house. Now, my friend that drove us there, he technically went home, and I stayed there to meet this girl and to basically party with her for a while. So I go and I like sheepishly knock on the door, and his roommate lets me in, and I feel real weird about it. And his roommate kind of gives me a look, and me and this girl just had basically this great night on the couch at my friend's place. And then even right in the middle of us having a great time, we'll say, the roommate comes out to get a drink of water, supposedly. I think he was trying to, like, catch us in the act or something. We basically froze like statues when it came out. It was the most uncomfortable thing. But I got to tell you, man. What's that?
He threw a statue at you?
No, I said he froze like a statue. We froze like a statue when he came into. We were in there on the couch in the living room. So we stopped our business while he was there, like get a drink of water, try to act like nothing was going on. So anyway, it was a great night, great weekend. Although I got to tell you, man, I'll be out with my friend. The next morning, my friend was like, "What the hell did you do last night?" My roommate was telling me about walking in on you guys or something. I'm like, dude, well, we didn't have a place to go. And he's like, if that happens next time, he's like, come and wake me up and you can use my room. So you're not like have sex basically out on the couch of our living room. And I'm like, sorry about that, man. But I get nice. Like I go back to St. Louis one weekend, and that's my friggin' weekend. An incredible Grateful Dead party Saturday. And then Friday night, I just meet this really cool girl. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man, I've had one experience here on DePaul so far. I met this girl. I was taking, you know how we take classes sometimes just like, this is going to be like an easy 3 credits. I'm going to take this class. Be done with it. It'll be an easy A. I don't have to do too much studying.
Right.
So I took this guitar class, even though I technically know how to play guitar. I'm like, this will be easy. Like, it'll be
Is it classical?
Yeah, which technically I don't know how to read music, so it's classical.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I don't really play unless, Metallica's got a few little classical bits in there.
You are a metal guy. You're like studying classical guitar, going the Randy Rhoads route.
Oh, Randy Rhoads, it's another one. Randy Rhoads has some great classical bits. His song, hey, every little bit helps. So if it's jazz guitar, I'll pick it up. If it's classical guitar. So I met this one girl, and she was just hot. She will remain nameless, but she knows who she is. And she used to come to my place. She lives out in the burbs and was commuting to DePaul. So she comes over to my place a couple of different nights, and we have a couple of great nights. But she never invites me out to her place. And I just ask her one day, I'm like, hey, how come I don't go to your place? She goes, why don't I just keep going to your place? So, dude, what is that? Would the red alarms be going up in your head, right? If you met this girl and she doesn't want you to come back to where she lives or anywhere near where, I think she lived out in Des Plaines or something like that.
No, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, cool, we're getting laid.
You keep doing it. Maybe I should have, man, because I was having a great time.
Right.
But I just happened to ask. I'm like, it's so weird. It just came out. I said, are you single? And there was a pause on the telephone. I'm like, uh-oh. She's like, well, technically I have a boyfriend. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? So apparently she's got a boyfriend that there's a horrible story behind it where they went drinking about a year ago, and they were both drunk. She was driving. She crashed the car.
Oh.
So she feels guilty. She's like, I can't leave him. He's like, he depends on me for a lot of stuff. His parents aren't there as much for him. And she's like, he knows about us. And he even told her, like, I know what's going on, man. I know that you're with somebody else now. Do me a favor. Just leave me a 12-pack on my door when you decide to break up with me. Don't even tell me about it.
Jeez.
So me, I'm like, hey, hon, if you want to, like, I'll supply the 12-pack. I'll drop it off right at his door. You and me will go right off into the sunset. But anyway, she couldn't do it. So I said, look, I'm sorry, but like until you break up with him, until you're actually single,
right.
like I can't see you anymore.
That's horrible. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable. Like I couldn't like feel good about that at all. Just to hook up. Hell no.
Well, what a coincidence, man. Because I got to tell you, let me get off this for a second. I noticed this whole week, ever since I got back, you've been different.
Oh.
Like, I can tell there's something on your mind. I can tell something's going on. You haven't really been saying much about it, but I don't mean to bring this up on the air. I'm sorry that this is happening right now, but it's like, what's going on with, something's going on with you, man. You got to just tell me you can't.
Well, I just, my girlfriend, who I mentioned earlier, like, she just broke up with me, yesterday. Yeah, so it's just been kind of funky. Yeah, we're still living together.
Because of her.
Right, like, well, one of the reasons was her and to, move. But yeah, she sparked it and she sowed the seed of interest of Chicago and like, leaving. And I mean, I wanted to leave, but I didn't know it'd be Chicago. So, I got focused and my heart was all into it because I'm like gullible. But, but she just said it's just, I mean, just not cool enough, I guess, or whatever her, fucking reasons. But, it's sad. And, she was like, probably, I really fell for her and said the L word. And cause she was like, a lot better than my previous girlfriend, I thought. And I thought we had a pretty good thing going. But I guess not.
But,
so.
I'm sorry, man. I was just about to ask
Yeah.
you if you loved her. You know.
Yeah, man. I started to, like, it started because, like, I could tell, because it was like dumb shit that, that it's not too important things about her, little things I took an interest in and, like, talking to her, and she was, like, the first person I ever been with that, made me laugh, so, like, that was a big one, and she had a lot of same interests, turned me on to like a lot of music, we just a lot of stuff, and but and then it was weird. I get a call from her mom today, and she just really kind of sad too. I guess she told her mom right away, and her mom was just like, why would you do that? Why would you bring them here and then break up with them? And, cause it's only been half a year, we got here in like last summer.
Right. How long have you guys been
now,
seeing each other? Well, how long have you guys been seeing each other in Alaska?
So we were together there probably like a year. So this would have been like this, probably about the second year. And, but.
So how'd you, I'm sorry, man. I'm really, like,
Oh,
first
cool.
of all, look, me and you got to go out. We'll have some beers. We'll try to, like, shake this off the best way you can. I mean,
cool.
It happens. You're not alone. You got friends.
No, I know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, how did it happen? What, did you just come home one night and she's like, it's over?
No, it was probably one of the worst ways to be broken up was she was at work, and she works at an office or whatever, and I was sleeping, and I wake up, she broke with me over the phone.
Over the phone.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is some kind of like bullshit, but that's I kind of like, I didn't suspect it, but I was feeling like it was just like not going to happen because, she's the kind of person who'll do stuff behind her back. Like she was doing drugs and stuff, lied about it, stood me up at Crowbar one time with her friend who was nice, and just little things I could tell. Yeah, she's just like, if you're not gonna agree to it, I'll do it myself, kind of thing. I don't, fuck you. So,
so they've been going downhill.
Yeah, and but you try to be positive, and I do really love her, and but fuck it, I'm here. I enjoy everything. It's been pretty good. This is probably one of the highlights of my life, dude. Like, people have surprisingly been pretty cool. This is great. Like, I just, I guess from being in Alaska where, it's just the same thing. This is great because it's like I see stuff all the time. I like the architecture. I like walking around downtown. Like the whole thing, I take it in, and now it's just now it's going to be associated with her for a while until I make my own thing. So
that would be my next question, because you do live with each other. I mean, what's
right, and she doesn't plan on moving, so it's like I'll be looking for a new place, and I'll probably tell you about that too, and it'll be interesting to see what's up. Like Loyal is a trip because there's like blocks of it where there's like chunks of buildings just full of fucking students. So right. So yeah.
Well, because I know that you like the area. I mean, I've visited you a couple of times.
Love it
up there. So you think you're going to try to stay there? Do you want to move closer to DePaul? Do you want to live on the people on the south side? I mean,
I know. No, I'll probably stay up. I mean, if I can find somewhere to stay in Rogers Park would be cool. I've become acquainted with it. and it's like fucking beautiful out, like, but you know, we're by the beach. But you know, I'm not picky either. If I can, then I'll take wherever. Just save up because I'm pretty fortunate. I don't have a lot of shit going, so I can muster up the funds to do that shit. So new place, I mean.
You know what? I mean, I like the Loyola area too. I was saying I've visited you a couple times. I don't like it as much as around here. I gotta say though, around Lincoln Park, man, it is. I don't know. I mean, it is pricey, right? It's priced for guys like us. It's like you can get certain bars you go in and it's 99-cent wing Wednesday. I've found like $3 pitcher or maybe like $5 pitcher Thursdays. You can get a pitcher of beer or like a $1 beer, never on a Friday or Saturday. But like you got to be kind of, you know, if you're kind of careful, you can find places to go. You can get your party on and not have to spend too much because we're, you know. And by the way, man, I just got a new job. I told everyone I'm working at Tequila Roadhouse at North and Wells, but I work Saturday nights. It's like an all night thing. We're open until 5:00. But
nice.
I'm actually working now. I worked for a while at Lincoln Park Market, which is minimum wage basically. And now I actually just got a job a couple blocks from just like a block away from where I live at a place called Northern Plains, which is this great little coffee shop, bread shop type place. But like, listen to the schedule. I work there Monday through Friday, right? I work every day from 6 to 11 and go home real quick, try to get the bakery. Actually, maybe I should keep the bakery smell on. Maybe it'll work more for me. But I come home, take a shower, go up like the classes from 12 to 3. We do our radio show every day here from 3 to 4. And then I work a couple of nights during the week even at Tequila Roadhouse. I just can't stay until the place is open until 4, even during the week. So I stay basic till like 11 or 12 whenever it starts to cool down a little bit and I take off. But like, this is going to be like a jam-packed, like I'm hoping to make more money and stuff like that because it's like,
man.
We can't, I mean, I know I want to find deals and stuff like this, but it's like, I'm tired of being broke, man. Like I just, you know, you got to have a little bit of money. You can find, you know, CDs cost money, concerts cost money. Going out to dinner and stuff, drinks, everything costs money, clothes cost money, like car, gas, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's all about trying to find the best places. Like, you know, before I got this job at Tequila Roadhouse, I scoured the entire city. I mistakenly, and by the way, I went to bartending school, okay? I'm 21, I just turned 21. I'm like, hey, I can serve alcohol now. And I went to this piece of crap bartending school downtown, showed you how to like measure drinks and like, oh, this alcohol is this weight, so you can put it on top of this and you can separate the drink. Do a red liqueur with a green liqueur with a blue liqueur, and it'll be this pretty color. And then you know what? You get to a bar that's like, I want an effing beer on the tap, or I want a shot of Jack Daniels. That's the only thing you need to know. All this like bull crap. I paid $500 to go through bartending school to basically get a job at the door at Tequila Roadhouse, and I'm trying to work my way into being a bartender, but it's difficult. So I don't know about, you know, I know that if you're finding a new place, I'm guessing you're going to want like a roommate or something. I mean, you can't afford your own place, right?
Oh, no, that's, not up there. No, I look for like people and then, you know, interview, like my way of interviewing people and like read them. Cause, you know, people, people are sketchy. You don't know. So it's like you kind of have to, you can't just take any person. Right. And, you know, she didn't kick me out, so it's not like it's a rush or anything. She doesn't care. You know, she broke up with me, and then today, like, I think she's been hooking up with like a British dude or something, because like she'll mention stuff, and we just have like a weird relationship. She talked about her ex-boyfriend before we even moved back here. like afraid to concerned about things. So I don't know, man. Like it's obviously like a whatever now. So I just have to learn to get over it and move on. This is a big place, so I can distract myself, and this sucks.
So why did she want to why did she drag you to Chicago in the first place?
She just thought like, I was not a volunteer, but I worked at, not work, but I was at public radio up there, and I was able to get a shift, and I did like a music hour, like at like 2, like midnight to 2 or whatever. It was like the only thing I get. So she saw me do that and how I was into that, and was like, yeah, man, you could do that shit. You could do that in Chicago, and it'd be like a career instead of just for fun, So she got like kind of just boosted my interest and told me about the different places and the history of the loop. And so I was in the alt station that's here. But yeah, man, it's just and just the she's like, you need to come to the city, and she's like, LA is not the same as Chicago. I mean, she's like, haven't you watched like all the John Hughes movies and the cinematography, and like that's it. Like Blues Brothers, she's like, that's corny, but that's true. Uncle Buck, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like all that shit. I'm like, huh.
That's somebody's watching a movie, think like, by the way, I can't stand the Blues Brothers. I think that's the most
I know.
I really can't stand that movie.
Right. Yeah, and they have they have a House of Blues, and like, it's Dan Aykroyd's thing and then getting like all his friends who are in Hollywood, that are in
specifically the movie, specifically the Blues Brothers, not funny. Don't like the plot. Don't like musicals. Half the movie is a musical. It's just not a very good movie.
Yeah.
And I can understand, maybe if you lived here and grew up here, which, I do find that, like, there's a lot of transients here in Chicago, but, there's obviously a lot of people that grew up and they live in the same neighborhood they grew up in.
Right.
And I don't understand that, though, because, I mean, I don't like something just because it was made in the city I live in. I mean, growing up in Boston,
right.
I liked the movie just because.
It's that thing, I think, that people who live in like cities, or you get that in New York too. I've met New Yorkers and just in passing and like, traveling, and the love of New York wherever they're at. They could be like, any fucking where, and they're like visiting, traveling, any country in the world, any spot. You say New York, and it's like, no, man, you're not.
Yeah, New York is home.
So,
and places like New York and
like, and people lose their shit, and my now ex would she tried to explain that to me, like the band Chicago, like there's this place, that Wiener place up the street there, Chicago, and I never got that shit. I'm starting to understand it, being here more, like, after being here for a while, and how people are, and I mean, I could get it, like, I just never had it. Growing up in LA, this is not even the same kind of like love treatment growing up there. I grew up in the suburbs. It's all suburbs, and like the actual city's like, it's like a turd, right in the middle of like the suburbs. It's fucking weird, but it's just, I never had it. Nobody rioted over a fucking sports team winning in LA. Nobody cares about the Dodgers or the Raiders. Like, like not the same, man. I can't explain it. Here, the love for the Bulls and the Bears, even the Blackhawks and the Cubs, I mean, it's like I never witnessed that shit before. So,
Wow. I obviously did. I mean, to be honest with you, St. Louis is like that. Like, St. Louis has a baseball team.
The
they were great in the 80s, but they suck now.
Really?
The football team moved to Arizona, so there's no football team there, no basketball team. I think there was. years and years ago. So sports is I didn't follow sports at all. I grew up on sports in Boston, loving the Red Sox, and the Patriots sucked, but the Celtics were great, Larry Bird and all the champions.
Oh, my God, dude. The love shit, too, man. They have the wild fucking shit, too.
Yeah, it's a huge thing on the East Coast. But you know what, you described, like, you really wanted out of Juneau coming here, and I loved from where I came from in St. Louis. But, man, when I left technically Worcester is where my family's from, not Boston. But when I left Worcester, I was looking for a change. Like, I graduated high school. I'd been there for a long time. I was set to go to college there, and all of a sudden, on a moment's notice, my dad's like, "I'm moving to St. Louis. You want to stay here, or you want to come with me?" And I'm like, "Boy, I guess I'll go to St. Louis, a change of pace." And it sounded good, and it was. I mean, I went there and I met all kinds of people, and but you know, it's just so weird because I have so many people that I met through college and stuff like that, and here, I've just gotten more of a cliquey feel about Chicago as opposed to I got to be honest with you, man, I've had a couple of bad one especially with the theater department that
really
got people in every department and stuff. In fact, there's a friend of mine. It actually just happened. This girl that works at Northern Plains, her boyfriend, coincidentally, is part of the theater department at DePaul. She's like, "Let's hang out." And I'm like, "Okay." And hung out, and I don't know. I just had a bad night. I didn't connect with her boyfriend. Is cool, but I thought his friends were kind of dicks, and I don't care if they're listening. Like, they're dicks. And there was this one little piece of shit in the department that just was going after me for my long hair, like making fun of the fact that I had long hair. I felt like strangling.
That doesn't even make any sense. Like, it's theater. Like, what? It's the 90s. Yeah. Who cares?
And he was being all passive aggressive. He wouldn't even come up to me and say, he's like, I'd hear him in the other room, going to the other room, and be like, "Oh, this guy's, what kind of guy?" I don't know if he was like afraid I was going to steal his girlfriend or what. But if that little pussy wants to make a move, man, I'll bury his head into the theater department, I'll put him up in the rafters and then place by some of that rope and let him hang there for a while. So anyway, hopefully some of the other departments here at DePaul, the radio department is great, and the music department, I've met some people in there, and I've had some good teachers. But that was one little group of people. Like, I'll just say this: stay away from me. You come into Northern Plains to visit my buddy who works there, and you might get a confrontation. So, we'll see. We'll see how things go. So, what else have we got to talk about today? We're probably going to wind up here pretty soon. We're going to be looking forward to after this. We got a great summer to look forward to. We're going to have a pre-4th of July show next time we meet. We're going to go over a bunch of news stories from the month of June and see how we feel about it. Which, by the way, Tony, we should sign up for. We're going to be signing up for classes here for next semester. We should, we should take a class about, like, I've been dying to learn about. There's some sort of geography class about the different cultures of the world. There's some really great teachers and some really great classes here. We should take a couple classes together about, like, history or geography.
I like history. That's the other reason I like Chicago. Like, I'm interested in the history of this place.
Right. It's always more fun too to take class with a friend.
Right.
I used to do that all the time in St. Louis, and it just seemed to show up a lot more because every once in a while I have a day where I wake up and I'm like, I don't think I feel like going to class today.
Right.
I don't. So, or when I come home from work, I'm like, oh, gee, it'd be nice to just basically, I don't know, just hang out and go do my own thing rather than having to go to classes. The radio show actually does really pry my ass to get in here to do it so that we can do our radio show. We don't do it every single day. We miss days here and there and stuff like that, which is fine. But
Right.
anyway, I think we're building something. I was gonna say, I think we're building something pretty cool with our radio show. So
Yeah,
we'll
I
see
used
where it
to
goes.
have you had people like come up to you like and mention it yet?
The radio show, yeah. I mean, I get people like, there's people in the department here that think we're good. There's actually someone in the department here. God, I'll try to introduce you to her. I've gone out with her a couple of nights and gone out for some drinks, but she's an intern at the Man Cow radio show on Block
I met
1035.
her.
Yeah, yeah. So
she's really cool. She lives by my place. So I see her walking to the train. Yeah, so hey, what's going on? She's like, yeah, I do that. She goes to Columbia, too. It's funny. But yeah,
so,
that's cool.
Yeah, talking about like some of the bigger, talking about like Mancow, Jonathan Brandmeier.
Yeah.
There's a couple other personalities that are pretty big. Mike North for sports, some other people and stuff like that I've actually, really started listening to since we've gotten into the medium. And taking some notes from those shows. So, yeah, I mean, from what I hear, like, our show's doing pretty well. I know that the listenership, we get a lot of correspondence from listeners, and I get all kinds of people saying, hey, talk about this. This is going on campus. Talk about that. So we try to actually bring you news stories. We talk about our lives. We talk about, obviously, news stories outside. We'll try to bring you some more maybe in-depth stuff about what's going on here on DePaul. And I have to admit, Tony, I don't know about you, but I'm busy too. It's like I don't do as much hanging around on campus as I would like to. I got my morning job. I got my nighttime job. Trying to have some kind of a social life beyond that. I'm trying to get in with a band. You and I are trying to sort of get immersed in the arts. So we got all this stuff going on. I mean, heck, I for a while I actually wanted to get involved until I met some of the people. I did a lot of theater at my last school, and it's like I wanted to get involved in the theater department. I don't know about that anymore, but maybe things have changed. But it would be nice to be on campus a little bit more. But damn, man, I need the money. I need to work. So we'll try to bring some more maybe DePaul specific stories in the future about stuff that's going on campus here, related to really what's going out there in the real world and how we perceive it, because we are, as they love to say, like in conservative, if Rush Limbaugh would hate it here in DePaul radio, let's just talk about another radio personality, because we're like, we're that liberal place where your kids go to learn about the world, and it might differ from your pro-corporate world that you live outside of campus. So I know that I still technically have a couple of arguments with my dad about like Walmart and different corporate companies and about whether or not they're good for America or bad for America.
Yeah.
So we'll, as time goes, we'll see how those stories develop. Let me see. Anything else what do you got there? Anything else before we head out of here? What do you got going on this weekend? I mentioned your weekend's going to be kind of fucked up, man. I mean, you're going to be staying at your place.
I know, I'm not going to be hanging out at my place unless I bathe and go bathe or eat. But other than that, it's just, plus she has like a shitty dog that I didn't want in the first place, so I have to deal with that fucking thing. And, so I'm gonna call this guy and see if he'll let me crash at his place or something. Other than that, I'll be working at the Vic, probably just hang out there too, because like my other, only other social thing. And I'll probably call you, see what you're doing or something.
Hey man, I work Keela Roadhouse Saturday night from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. Stop by, man. I'll get you a free drink. We got some good food there. Also, hell, man, that I live like right near. I live basically at Fullerton and Clark. So if you need a couch to crash on, my dad would freak out. I think if you were there, like my dad is rural territorial about the place, and unfortunately I still live with my pop. So, But if you need a
cool.
couch to crash on sometimes, like, please feel free to, to crash there. So
I might need to crouch too, man, and crotch. So that would be good. But yeah, I appreciate it, man.
I'm only offering you a crash, not a crouch or a crotch.
All right. Okay.
So anyway, dude, all right, man. Well, look, better times to come. I'll tell you what, come drink your sorrows away at Tequila Roadhouse. We'll take care of you, and then come crash at my place on Saturday Night Live if you're up to it. To all the listeners out there, thank you so much for listening. We'll check you out next time. This is Bebop Boop DePaul Radio. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, have a good one. Wash your hands.